The Suncoast remembering the lives lost in Pittsburgh. We'll tell you about it coming up.
Plus, the man suspected of sending more than a dozen bombs to political leaders makes his first court appearance today. What we know so far about his fate.
And we'll hear from parents who are trying to lower the speed limit near a Venice school. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news at 6, our community coming together tonight in Sarasota to remember the victims of Saturday's shooting massacre at a synagogue in Pittsburgh.
A vigil is taking place in about an hour at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds. ABC7's Rick Adams joins us from there now with more on tonight's event. Rick?
Yeah, Jacqueline and Scott, good evening. This vigil gets underway at 7 o'clock. They are expecting a very large crowd here tonight. More than 1,700 people have registered, forcing them to move the event to the fairgrounds. It's being hosted by the Jewish Federation of Sarasota Manatee. The Suncoast community is remembering the 11 lives lost during the massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh.
This is the time to stop and bring down the temperature and begin dialogue. Dialogue takes you to the next level. Yelling doesn't take you anywhere. Demonizing doesn't take you anywhere, and we've watched enough of this. So hopefully tonight's big takeaway will be one thing and one thing simple. It's talking.
And as you can see, people have already begun to file in here, and security, as you can imagine, is very tight here as well. And again, the vigil gets underway officially at 7 o'clock tonight. Reporting live from Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
Rick, thank you. ABC7 spoke with a Sarasota woman who was born and raised in Squirrel Hill, a neighborhood in Pittsburgh, and worshiped at the Tree of Life Synagogue. Ruth Lando described the area as a tight-knit community where everyone accepted each other and felt safe. She says Saturday's shooting came as a shock to her, and she cannot express how sad she is about this tragedy.
My heart is broken because I feel as though my children have these wonderful, innocent, loving memories of their childhood in Squirrel Hill and their time at Tree of Life and with their friends and cousins, and there are no words to describe the horror of it.
Lando says she didn't know any of the people who were killed, but she does remember speaking with one of the 4 injured victims who was last listed in critical condition.
The FBI says another suspicious package possibly sent by a serial mail bomb suspect has surfaced. This comes the same day Cesar Sayoc, charged with sending explosive devices across the country, makes his first appearance in federal court. The FBI confirms a similar package was addressed to CNN's Atlanta office but was found at a post office there. The nationwide manhunt started when the first pipe bomb was found in the mailbox of Democratic philanthropist George Soros last Monday.
He's innocent until proven guilty, and nobody has proven him guilty of sending those devices in the mail. So I can't give you any further information.
Sayoc is expected to be transferred from Miami to the Southern District of New York, where many of those explosive devices ended up. It's also where he'll likely be prosecuted.
We also continue our coverage of recovery efforts in the Florida Panhandle following Hurricane Michael. Today, some good news for small business owners recovering from the storm. The Florida Department of Economic Opportunity is issuing a total of $40 million to businesses in need. Some good news for college students as well. The Helos Education Foundation is donating $25,000 to help students enrolled in Chipola College, Gulf Coast State College, and Tallahassee Community College. The $500 grants will help students who need additional financial help while continuing their education.
Let's get a check on our gorgeous weather outside today with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. It's the cool weather we've all been waiting for, Bob.
It was outstanding over the weekend, wasn't it? Temperatures in the 50s, even the 50s this morning in some areas. And it looks like I will see a gradual warming trend as we move through the week. Beautiful beach weather out there, too. A lot of folks on Holmes Beach, so it doesn't appear any red tide right there, but have had some social media reports suggesting there has been some areas that are experiencing red tide still. With a better east wind tomorrow, I think most of the harmful impacts, anyway, of that that red tide will be pushed offshore. 80 degrees right now. We have a north wind now. We had a north-northwest just about an hour ago, so that has switched to the north. The barometer is on the rise, and that usually means fair skies, and that's what we're going to see. Dew point temperatures come up slightly, and that's what we look for to see that dew point. If it was down in the 50s, we'd get down in the 50s again tonight, but at 64, it's going to be a little bit warmer tonight, but still pretty comfortable as the dry air is in place. Nothing really to show you around here as a result of a large area of high pressure that continues to dominate the weather over the southeast. Now, we're going to see our winds switch more to an east-southeasterly direction. That begins on Wednesday. Yes, unfortunately, that will start to get that humidity back up once again, but enjoy it while it lasts tonight. Should be really quite nice, 70 at 11 o'clock, and then tomorrow we're looking for beautiful weather to continue. We have an area of low pressure developing over the central Rockies. It will emerge into the central U.S. on Tuesday, eventually sweeping a pretty good cold front across the lower Mississippi Valley. Could see some rough storms here. We'll stay north of that and south of that. That'll be north of us, and that means pretty good weather for trick-or-treaters tomorrow. Wednesday, again, things are looking good for Wednesday as we move through time. Now, this is the GFS forecast model showing that one front well to the south and east of us. You can see the storm. We're going to talk more about Oscar here a little bit later, too. It's out in the Atlantic right now and pushing off to the north. We'll have more on that. It's a pretty strong Category 1 hurricane. More on that a little bit later. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. An Englewood man is accused of stabbing another man this morning. Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies say Kevin Dwyer assaulted the man outside Faith Lutheran Church. When deputies got there, they found the man with a stab wound to the chest. Dwyer is wanted for the crime and may be in hiding. He has a distinctive cross tattoo on his arm. If you recognize him, call Crime Stoppers.
A follow-up now on the local efforts in the National Drug Take-Back Initiative. Sarasota police say they collected almost 50 pounds of unused, expired, and unwanted prescription drugs on Saturday. Members of the DEA will collect those drugs that were dropped off and then dispose of them properly. Sarasota PD also has a permanent drop box in their lobby at the headquarters. It can be accessed from 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 p.m. any day of the week.
Well, still to come tonight on your Suncoast News.
It's still too high for a school.
The speed limit at a local private school just got reduced, while parents and teachers say it's still not enough.
And some Floridians say it's cold enough to wear their fur boots outside, but is that cooler weather here to stay? Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has your first alert weather forecast for the rest of the work week.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Ghetto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Ghetto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Kettle's got it.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
I was so congested, and neti pots, drugs, and nasal sprays were just not doing the job. I was sure nothing would work until I tried the My Pure Mist Free Steam Inhaler. My doctor told me that steam is a really effective natural decongestant. With my little personal spa, I am free to breathe. It's the only cordless and the only ultra pure steam inhaler. If allergies or sinus congestion is holding you back, you need to try the My Pure Mist Free.
Get the cordless My Pure Mist at Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Walgreens, or Amazon.
Parents of students at a Venice private school are fighting to lower the nearby speed limit.
The limit was 45 miles an hour, and while Sarasota County lowered it over the summer, parents say speeding is still a problem there. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us live from Venice with the story. Tonight, Rebecca?
Scott, Jacqueline, those yellow school zone signs were put in place here on Center Road, warning drivers that the speed limit is now 35 miles per hour in front of Venice Christian School. But many parents say it's still not enough. It took 10 years before the speed limit in front of Venice Christian School was changed from 45 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour.
It was a Friday before school started. Somebody came to my office and said, "Mr. Frimmel, they're putting up the signs," and I nearly fell off my chair.
The principal says he will forever be thankful to the county and to the commissioners who helped make this happen this year. But parents say they still worry every day when a car speeds past them during the morning commute.
We were happy because we were able to see somewhat of a change, but it's still too high for a school.
There are about 300 students from preschool to high school who attend Venice Christian, a private school right on Center Road off of Venice Boulevard.
Why is it that we have 35 mile an hour and it's only for a little bit? Still, there's a 45 mile an hour sign still on the property in front of the school when a public school has 15 miles an hour during drop off and dismissal.
Because Venice Christian is not a public school funded by the county, a school zone was not put in place originally. But Sarasota County did pay for the recent change, which the principal says was the first step in the right direction.
With the growth right down Center Road of housing developments, it's great for Venice. It's a wonderful thing, but the traffic patterns have increased tremendously. I would love to see it reduced down to a 25 with a flashing beacon.
Parents and school staff will be at next week's county meeting on November 7th to discuss the possibility of reducing the speed limit even more and adding a flashing yellow light. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
Rebecca, thank you. An update now on the Lido Beach Renourishment Project. The city of Sarasota says the contractor is scheduled to begin shipping in equipment and pipes to the project area sometime in the next week or two. The actual work will begin no later than November 15th, and city staff still working on how to replace the trap bags on Lido Beach that were washed away during Hurricane Michael.
And the future of the Lido Pavilion is still up in the air. The city says the application to develop a restaurant and other improvements to the Lido Pavilion is due to come back to the City Commission for final consideration. A hearing is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, December 4th, but that hearing date will be discussed at the City Commission's next meeting on November 5th.
A lot happening on Lido, and we were talking about the red tide, and we're going to get that east wind again. Maybe you'll push it off again.
Yeah, it's good. And then the winds will come back out of the northwest as early as Saturday. So it goes back and forth. Another cold front coming in. So we're in this very progressive autumnal pattern that we're going to see periods Cold fronts moving on through. A nice, comfortable weekend, though, wasn't it? And today, not bad out there, despite the fact we warmed a little bit above average. Eventways, a webcam showing lots of sunshine out there over Sarasota Bay. Seas rather quiet, too, and looks like the winds will be picking up on the east-southeast. And we're also going to have a time change coming up next weekend as well. Warming up this week, another front arrives on Friday, and then a hurricane, another one out there in the Atlantic. It's a season that won't end. Another hurricane, and it's gaining strength, actually. The good news is it's going to stay out there as far as that goes. Titan radar picture showing calm conditions over the southeast United States and rather mild conditions as well. And the reason why it's so mild is that dry air has moved in place all across the Sun Coast right now and across Florida for that matter. You can see that quite clearly from the water vapor imagery on the scale here. That dry air continues to push southward all the way down into the Bahamas and in the Florida Straits nearing Cuba. Lows tonight will be into the low to mid 60s, so a little bit warmer. We'll start off at right around 65 degrees, and we'll warm up into the mid 80s for highs tomorrow. It won't be as humid. It'll stay dry, so it'll be nice out there. And then we'll start to see that humidity come back into play as those winds will shift out of the, instead of the northwest and north, they'll become more east to southeasterly. That happens more so on Wednesday. You'll notice we'll have an east wind tomorrow, generally with no real sea breeze. But then by Wednesday, it becomes more east to southeasterly. You see those arrows pointing off toward the northwest there. That will increase our humidity somewhat. Futurecast is showing a little weak frontal boundary coming on down. This weak front is going to keep us mild and dry for the most part, as a nice sunny day expected again on Tuesday with temperatures warming to about seasonal averages. Our average high for this time of year, 83, will be a degree or two above that. Well, nothing average about this hurricane season. It's above average. This is Oscar out there, and the good news is that it's going to be staying away from land and it's gaining strength. A very well-defined eye. You can see it right there. Winds up to 90 miles an hour, and it will eventually move off to the north and northeast. As far as our current conditions go, it's 80. We have sunshine and the humidity at 58%. That's nice. North winds are at 10, making for a very pleasant evening. The high day was 1 degree above the average of 82 degrees now, and 90 the record set back in 1995. Well, you can see this cloudiness coming out of Colorado now into Kansas. This is a developing storm system which promises to spoil some problems for Halloween over the lower Mississippi Valley, but for us, it'll stay far enough north that it won't be a factor until Friday. We'll start to see that coming on down. These are the temperatures, not too much of a wind chill there, although Toronto feeling like 37 degrees. Highs tomorrow will stay pretty seasonal across the Great Lakes, the 50s and 60s there. A little bit warmer above average in Memphis and Dallas. For boaters tomorrow, northeast winds at 10 knots. Seas will be 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast then, Tuesday looks good, a little bit warmer, 85, but you won't feel that. It'll be still very dry out there. Wednesday, different story. Looks like we're going to see on Halloween 86 degrees, 63 to start things off, so it'll actually be a little bit cooler there. And we are calling for a nice day on Wednesday, and for trick-or-treaters it should be good as well. And then 20% chance for showers on Thursday, 70% chance for rain on Friday. Now we'll see the 20% chance for afternoon storms on Friday and into Friday evening, so that could be a little bit dicey. It's 20% chance for scattered storms, definitely some rain. And then Saturday morning, 40% chance for showers, and be sure to fall back 1 hour before you go to bed on Saturday. We do fall back 1 hour. We gain an hour over the weekend. That means sunset will be a little earlier, it will seem anyway. It'll get a little darker earlier for us here. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Amendment 4 will restore the right to vote for people who were convicted of felonies and who have completed their sentences, paid restitution, and fulfilled parole or probation requirements. Murderers and sex offenders would be excluded from this, but backers of the amendment estimate that about 1.4 million Floridians would have their voting rights restored. If they're required, 60% of voters approve it. Supporters feel people should get their rights back as soon as their debt to society has been paid.
What you have in Florida is a rapidly expanding population of people who have no voice in their government. And if this amendment were to pass, be approved by Florida voters, the vast majority of people who are completing their sentences would routinely regain their voting eligibility.
Next week's vote on Amendment 4 comes as Governor Rick Scott and the Florida Cabinet, which now control voter rights restoration, fight a federal judge's ruling that says the state's current system is unconstitutional.
A statewide organization known as Article 6 is initiating Operation Tailgate during the midterm election. That group is made up of military veterans and first responders, and they say their mission is to protect the U.S. Constitution. So this midterm season, they'll be monitoring polling locations across the state, gathering evidence of harassment, intimidation, voting at multiple locations, or other illegal activities that could compromise a fair election process.
Experts are predicting a higher than usual turnout for a midterm election. Researchers have found for years that most younger voters are overwhelmingly Democrat, but a political science professor from USF claims her classes are split evenly between Democrats and Republicans.
And as a reminder, this is the final week for early voting. In Manatee County, voters can cast ballots from 8:30 to 6:30 at 5 locations. Those are on your screen. They include Lakewood Ranch Town Hall, Manatee County Utilities Administration offices, numerous libraries, and the Supervisor of Elections office. In Sarasota County, you can vote at the 3 Supervisor of Elections office in Sarasota, Venice, and Northport, as well as 2 libraries in Westfield Sarasota Square Mall. Those locations are also open from 8:30 to 6:30. Early voting in Sarasota and Manatee County run through November 3rd.
Well, when we come back, we're going to show you how you can buy some unique pieces of art this weekend here on the Suncoast.
Tonight, the synagogue massacre, as Pittsburgh and the nation grieve the victims, and with a suspect in custody, the latest on the alleged motive. If convicted, could he face the death penalty? World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Me, pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh, man, I love technology. Hey, yo, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money to build a brand new facility. It will be bigger and better, just like it was 40 years ago when I attended. Invest in kids, build great futures.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
More than 150 artists are expected at this year's Downtown Venice Art Festival, including sculptors, painters, jewelers, and other creators. The free two-day event is happening this upcoming weekend. The artists are visiting from 30 different states and were hand-selected by an independent panel of judges. Prices will range from as little as $25 to as much as 30 grand, if you can afford that piece of art.
So glad to hear so many of those festivals are keeping with their schedule despite the red tide, and now that it's kind of moved off a little bit.
A little patchy out there, but not bad at all. And we have an east wind, and it's always good to see a season start because there's so many different festivals and great things to do outdoors here.
Where you want to be outside.
Yeah, exactly. So things looking good too for the trick-or-treaters on Halloween. It should not be bad. Just a little bit warmer, but no rain in sight.
Good.
Right,
Thanks,
good to
Bob.
hear.
World News Tonight with David Muir is coming up next.
We'll see you again at 7 and 11. Have a good night.